Hello and welcome back. What's this? Are you about to embark on a journey involving power tools and hazardous materials and are worried about your safety? Well then, have a seat, for today we shall delve into one of the most fundamental beliefs of Father Tree, health and safety.
Or lack thereof.
Father Tree goes through life thinking he's protected by the holy DIY God who watches over all men who decide they can do anything by themselves. And even better than people who have actual years of practice and know-how. That doesn't matter, as everyone is incompetent in the eyes of Father Tree.
But Dad thinks he's the favorite son of the DIY god.
Like Jesus.
More like Robocop.
Oh yeah, he was great in the Bible. Was he in the Old or New Testament?
It was in the 80s, so the old one, I'll assume.
Did he do any miracles?
He turned battery acid into heartburn.
His greatest legacy still holds up to this day.
Yeah, so I was mostly referring to Robocop's indestructibility, not his saintly exploits, though he's a martyr in his own right.
Without a doubt. So, Father Tree has worked some pretty dangerous stuff throughout the years. We're talking toxic and reactive chemicals, oxyfuel torches, stuff that any sane person would be extremely cautious with.
But we're not dealing with the sane person, which left us growing up with a man who is somehow constantly defying death.
One of the first rules of health and safety is safe chemical storage. What does Father Tree think about that?
If you have a bathroom, is good enough. If you have any unused space in your home, is good enough. You do not need specialized containers, locks on doors, ventilation. Bah! Such things are for weak men who have not been blessed with the wisdom of the DIY god.
Our bathroom was a safety hazard for many years. We had some... We're not gonna say the exact ingredients for your own safety. We'll just call it hyaluronic acid.
He was making some killer skincare products.
And with some other stuff in a bucket right beneath the sink, and Mom was drying or washing something with bleach. The story is a bit iffy as the narrator is unreliable. Either way, bleach was somehow added to the concoction.
And when you combine bleach and the mystery acid we spoke of, you get the story of how Dad survived mustard gas, allegedly. He inhaled some of it by mistake, and then he rammed himself into the doorframe to contract his lungs again and expel the gas. After which, he lit a cigarette to calm himself down from the harrowing ordeal. And to probably counter the effects of the deadly gas. His chemist logic, not mine.
He keeps bringing it up every time he can. Of course, he's not to blame for the incident, no. It was the woman who ignored the murky compote beneath her sink to bleach the yellow out of his daily wife-beater work outfit. Not the man who left the dangerous substances exposed in a bathroom in a small apartment with 2 preschool kids.
One of his many I shouldn't be alive episodes.
He's thoroughly preparing for the next season.
He chisels the story with each family gathering.
And what else do we have?
Occupational safety with the oxytorch.
Of course. How could I forget?
This episode also features some economic anti-advice. If you want to build your riches, you don't throw money on stupid stuff such as longer oxygen tubes, which is like $1 for a few meters or so. Money thrown to the chickens. So what does Father Tree do? He cuts the tube every time it has a fissure and reattaches it to the torch.
And he managed to make it so short that somehow the tube burst out and the flame from the torch went right through his forearm.
A flame that can reach up to 3,500 degrees Celsius.
Through human tissue.
He's alright now. However, he credits his fast recovery to strong Slavic and human healing powers, not modern medicine. He, of course, didn't go to a doctor. He casts healing swears for all his ailments.
This could have all been avoided if he just bought a longer tube.
Yes, but priorities. Why have more tube length when you can have more industrial strength coffee?
And cigarettes.
Next on our list is protection. Gloves and goggles and the like. Oh my. Father Tree does not use these, as these are women's accessories. Strong men like himself have the skin of an elephant and the eye of a hawk.
He used his bare hands while interacting with harsh chemicals that stained black, so he went around having an emo manicure for most of the year.
Tokyo Hotel was all the rage back then. He was on trend without even knowing. When you are so secure in your masculinity, you do whatever you want. Anything but wearing gloves.
And he will not wear any protective eyewear, no. His furrowed brow scares away any danger that dares to approach him. He will not even wear glasses, even though he clearly needs them. When he reads something, it has to be in another room for him to make out the text.
He only got a 5 by 3 foot TV for the pure cinematic experience.
Oh, and I had to change the setting for that thing, even though he insisted that everything was crystal clear. He thought Ryan Gosling in The Gray Man was a cartoon and not an actual actor.
Apparently, our dad doesn't know of Ryan Gosling's existence, and his eagle eyes cannot distinguish reality from neon cyberpunk aesthetics. So, what else have we got?
Starting something else while making coffee and forgetting about it?
Yeah, but then he started outsourcing when he figured out we were sentient.
Fiddling with electrical wiring without turning off the fuses?
Hobo Zeus fears not domesticated lightning.
Robo Jesus is impervious to all elements, for he masters them all.
He is now the Avatar.
Damn it, he keeps getting stronger.
Well, he was close to downgrading himself to ash when he fell asleep smoking.
Anything else of note?
Repairing electrical stuff based on the winging it philosophy. Remember when he occupied our entire living room with the innards of a CRT? And then when he was done fixing it, the wiring wouldn't fit back in the TV's shell?
Yeah, and he improvised one by welding Mom's old vinyl records together. An improvisation to which she did not consent to.
And then the TV was even heavier and longer, so he had to add an extra piece of wood so it could fit in the bookcase TV stand. Imagine coming home from work to see your already mammoth of a TV get so beefed up that it couldn't fit in its place, and it also covered in a Frankenstein-esque patchwork of your favorite Dalida records.
Flat screens were nary a thought in our father's mind.
With our MacGyver dad, every day seemed to carry the threat of an explosion, or implosion in this case, as the glass tube is in a high vacuum. One wrong move and boom! Our living room would have been full of shrapnel glass.
There is no such thing as shrapnel glass.
That can have many names, and I shall be the one giving them.
Wasn't the electric part also dangerous?
Yes and no. If it's plugged in, then yes, you have deadly voltages in many accessible places within the TV set. And while Filder 3 did unplug the TV at first, he kind of did plug it back in during open surgery mode to check if it was still working.
Bah, half-assed health and safety.
Not to mention all the dangerous chemicals and heavy metals that we were probably exposed to during his repair sessions. There's a toxic phosphor coating on the screen, as well as lead, cadmium, mercury, and so on.
Although lead poisoning would explain a lot.
Concerning us or Dad?
Let's just say Dad.
You're right. Let him have the lead. We have microplastics. Each generation should stick to their own era's trendy poison.
Yeah, no mixing and matching.
Except for animal print and plaid.
Sure, except those.
Oh, speaking of electrical hazards, Christmas lights! Not only did we have like 5 sets of them, they also malfunctioned on a yearly basis, so someone had to fix them.
So of course, Father Tree valiantly offered to curse, scream, cut wires, and replace bulbs to announce the birth of baby Jesus.
And on some occasions, he would take improvisation to a whole new level.
Such as cutting off the plug thingy from the Xmas lights and putting the wires directly into the socket.
We could have had ourselves a toasty little Christmas if we were not sensible children.
Dear God, how are we still alive?
Out of spite.
A charming character backstory.
Any other words of wisdom to our listeners?
Lock your kids, hide your wife.
And don't rely on DIY divinity.
Like and subscribe.
Touch the button with your eyes,
Touch it.
with your hands.
Headbutt the button.
Headbutt the button.
Butt the button.
And scene. And sync. Stop.